Hi everyone, it's Kathy from Today House. I'm coming to you today with a special video. I was asked by Cheryl McKinney a few days back if I wanted to participate in a Flosstube collaboration with some other floss tubers to bring to you designers that you may be familiar with or you're not familiar with, but designers that each of the floss tubers who are involved in the collaboration wanted to showcase and share with you. So of course I said yes. You'll be able to find the other floss tubers who are participating in the collaboration in the link box below. But let me give you a quick list of who's participating. Kathy from Crafty Cat Stitcher, Daylene from So Grateful, Dina from Half Stitch Cross Stitch, Lynette from Homesteading on the Home Front, Leslie Hurley from Fat Cat Flossing, Lisa from Lisa's Stitching and Such, Liz from A Stitching Bug, Lori from Mischievous Stitches, and Cheryl from Tranquil Stitches. So the 10 of us each will be releasing a video today on Sunday, and you can find each one of those by searching the Designer Showcase, the Flosstube Collaboration Designer Showcase. And each one of our videos will have that title so that you can identify the special group of videos for this particular collaboration. I thought it was a really, really great idea. It's an opportunity for me to share with you some of my favorite designers. I don't know who the others have selected, so I'll be watching their videos as well. Looking forward to seeing who each one of them present to you. We were asked to select 3 designers, so the 3 that I selected I'll be sharing with you today. I will show you some of the charts that I have. I'll give you maybe a little bit of a bio and a background, just very, very brief. If I've stitched something and finished something from them, I'll share that with you as well. And then also in the link box below, if they have a website or an Etsy shop or a blog out on the web, then I'll link that below as well. So let me get started. I don't think this is going to be a very long and elaborate video, but I did I did my homework a little bit, and I wanted to put together something that would help you understand the designers and at least how I view their designs, and maybe give you a little input as to how I find stitching their charts. And I have to say, all 3 of them I love to stitch. So the first designer that I selected was Bent Creek. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Bent Creek. They've been around for a very, very long time, and they were one of the first designers for me when I transitioned from using Aida cloth to linen. They were one of the first designers charts that I picked up because they were easy to read, and it was an easy transition for me to go to linen. The designers are made up of 2 sisters, Marcia and Elizabeth, and Michael, who is Elizabeth's husband, and they've been working together for quite a long time. I'm not sure where they're based out of. Let's see, does it say on here? It doesn't give me an address, so I don't know where they're located, but let's see, maybe back in the day. Powder Springs, Georgia. So this is an older chart, so if they haven't moved, that's where they're located out of, Powder Springs, Georgia. I would describe their designing style as being whimsical, on the primitive side of whimsical. Some of their charts are very, very cute, but most of them are they're very sweet and whimsical, and I really enjoy stitching their charts. So let me go ahead and share with you some of the charts that, from them that I have in my stash. The first thing that I want to say is that Bent Creek does have a number of charts that are, like this guy is really cute. This little cat guy. And that's called the White Cat. So you can see that's a very whimsical looking design. But other designs of theirs tend toward the primitive. For example, this cat-o'-lantern chart tends, at least in my mind, to be more on the primitive style. So they do have smaller charts that you can buy, and I have a collection here of their smaller charts. Not all of them, of course, but a good many. And then they also, like many designers, they have larger charts. This is one of my favorite ones, and is in my get to do it sooner rather than later pile, and this is called Summer Row. And they have an entire series of the row charts. So one of the things that they do is, generally speaking, they'll do a series or have a number of charts inside of the same kind of style within a series, and then they switch. For example, they were doing these sampler, it's called the Crossroads collection, so I guess they're collections more than series. And that's the hen one, where it's the alphabet, but hen in the alphabet is very pronounced. Eek is another in that collection, and Yule as well. So you can see that when they start a collection, they usually do a number of charts within that collection, and I find that their charts are very reasonably priced and they're very easy to stitch. So Bent Creek is one that I really enjoy. I've seen a number of people on Flosstube talking about them, but I also thought I would share some of my finishes. Now this is a Bent Creek. They also do a lot of kits, which is really nice. They do a lot of like zipper, or I don't know if they can do them now, but at one point they were doing a lot of kits, and most of these finishes that I have to show you came from a kit. So this is a bluebird, the bluebird, and again, like I said, more on the whimsical side, and I finished into like a little pocket. So this just hangs, and you can stick pens down here in the pocket. So that is one of my Bent Creek finishes. The other, this is not fully finished, but it's done being stitched, and again, more on the whimsical side, the 3 sheep in the arch with the sunflowers. Again, a kit. This one I made years and years ago, so this tells you, this has been, I probably did this in the late 90s, early 2000s. And this is Hip Hip Hurrah. Again, a kit. So it's really nice when you get the fabric and the floss. And these are our higher count kits, so you use more than 2 strands of floss on those. Now this one was a series that I did from their Snapper series, where all of the designs inside of the series have snaps on them, which I didn't really understand, but honestly it's quite charming. So and this is a little more on the primitive side just by its colorway, and this was the Summer Snapper series, and I've shown this to you previously, but if you're new to my channel, you haven't seen it yet. And it came out in 4 parts. The border is free, and I did go out and check their website, and they do have many free borders out there for you to stitch around your finished blocks. And so this one right now is hanging up in my house for the summer. They have, again, in the series, in the collection, they have an autumn, they have a winter, and a spring as well. And they all have they're all the same kind of layout. They all have the snaps in them, and they all have buttons that come along with them. So some of them might be a little more difficult to find than others. I think it's a rather old series, but they are available out there. I have seen them here and there. So that is Bent Creek. That is one that a designer that I really enjoy stitching, especially when I want to have that sense of accomplishment and get something done quickly. That looks pretty cute, and it's an easy stitch. So if your eyes are tired, you know, if you're having one of those nights, it's an easy thing to pick up and work on. Okay, so the second designer that I selected from my 3 designers is Chessy Me. I've seen sort of a resurgence of their charts now. I saw that they had some new releases at market, and that prompted me then to kind of go back and look at what I had in my stash and what I might want to stitch. And I'm going to share first some charts with you. One of these is more recent, and it was a kit that came with the silks and came with the fabric as well. And that's called Whale Watch by Chessy Me. And so this was a new, I believe this was new to their portfolio when it came out with Market. So that's one chart, and let me actually show you the finish of that, because I did stitch it and finish it, but I have not fully finished it yet. Again, if you're more recent to me, you haven't seen this yet, but if you've been around for a while, you saw that I showed it earlier. But isn't that cute, the little whale watch? Nice little stitch. A beautiful salt box type style house. Very cute. And now I've seen that they've come out with a number of these charts. Oh wait, before I proceed, let me go back and tell you a little bit about them. The designer for Chessy Me is Linda Lautenschlager, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. She is based in Wisconsin, and Chessy Me has been around for a while. They were sort of in the background with the resurgence of cross-stitching and Flosstube and all these new designs and new designers, and you know, ramping up with Market, and so they were sort of in the background, but they were there. They were visible, but you had to kind of look for them. I would describe their style as sort of classic, cute, primitive. Like they're not cutesy, but they're very sweet designs, and a lot of them are very classic looking to me as well. Sort of classic sampler looking, maybe early American sampler looking type. So that is my description of their style. I love them. I love her charts. So back to my finish. So that's Whale Watch. That is one that I finished this year. Quick stitch, really cute. These next 3, a couple of are on the newer side. This is a newer chart. I believe I purchased this last year. So they really have done a lot with coming up with new designs in the more recent past. And this is one that I really, really love, and it's called Home Safe to Me. And it's finished in a needlebook style. With the little mermaid and the whale holding the flag and the sister frog. I always sort of look for their logo, which is the cat. And what I really like it too is that there's a lot of consistency with this designer, even though they've been around for quite a long time. When I see that checkerboard and the cat at the bottom, I know it's a Chessy Me. And I sort of like that recognition, you know, being able to recognize the designer by how they pattern their charts or pattern their pictures. This one is called Pear Tree Sampler. Again, sort of early American style, but very, very pretty. I love her color selections as well. She's a really nice eye for color without making it too monotonous. And then this one was new. I believe this came out this year, again, as part of Market, and it's called Sarah's Basket. Looking at the design, I didn't know it was Chessy Me, but I saw the checkerboard pattern and knew it was them. But I just think it's so beautiful, and I love her color selection. So I think that's a really beautiful design. So keep your eye out for Chessy Me. Like I said, they're readily available. You can find them on 123 Stitch, and I'm sure in your local shops you'll see Chessy Me, as you would Bent Creek. as you would this next designer. So my third designer that I selected was Homespun Elegance. Again, another designer that helped me in my transition from Aida cloth into linen. And I couldn't locate any of my finishes for this designer, but I know I have some. So they must be stored away pretty well. But I really love this designer. I really love her aesthetic. And let me tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Sandra Sullivan, and she does have a Facebook page, and she has an Etsy shop. So you will often see, if you subscribe to Sandra Sullivan's page, you will see her posting links to her Etsy shop and her designs there. So you can shop her full catalog on Etsy. With Chessy Me, you can shop. Chessy Me has a blog spot, so you can, peruse her blog spot. And Bent Creek has a full catalog on their website. And again, those will all be linked below. Back to Homespun Elegance. I love these designs, and over the years I've collected them. And now that now that we're going into autumn and Christmas stitching, I found one just as part of this collaboration that I'd forgotten that I had, and immediately pulled it out and have decided to try and get this done for Christmas this year. So you can find her charts on her Etsy shop, but you can find them at 123 Stitch and other sites as well. And like I said, I do believe your LNS would probably have them too. So the one that I found in my stash that I decided to try and get done for this year, and granted that might be a bit ambitious, is this Christmas sampler, and it's in a bell pull style. But you can also do each square, but I'd like to do it in the bell pull. Isn't that beautiful? I would describe her style as primitive. On her website, her description of her designs states it's designs that reflect our early American heritage. And I would agree with that. I would really agree with that. To me, this says early American as well. Very pretty. So this is one that I'm going to stitch, but when I was going through my stash pulling out some examples of charts for Homespun Elegance, really, if you live in a primitive style home, or you just like the primitive style and you decorate that way, there are a number of charts with, stockings. Really cute. She has a patchwork series, and this is one of her patchwork series, Autumn Patchwork. Isn't that beautiful? And one of the things I thought about doing with this is maybe taking some scraps of fabric from other projects that I had used, sewing them together, and then stitching this exactly like she has it on the cover. I just think it's really, really beautiful. Very primitive look to her charts, but really nicely charted, and the supplies that you would need are readily available still. So, they withstand the test of time. The copyright on this is $2,000. So, that's 19 years, but she's been designing for longer than that. And then another one, and I've seen other people talking about and also stitching these pieces. They're smaller, but it's the Delivering series. And I just pulled as an example, Delivering Spring. So in her Delivering series, she has Delivering Winter, Delivering Autumn, but they're a nice little series. They include buttons. And charts are very easy to read. And I think that's one of the things that I love about Homespun Elegance is that they're not very complicated, but they're very beautiful. And then a Harvest Time, her Plain and Fancy collection. And then finally, and I have a number of these charts, but I wanted to share one with you that has particular meaning to me. I'm very fond of her Santas. She has a number of Santas that are finished as stand-ups. So there's a whole series of them, and I have quite a few of them. But this one is one that I've not done yet, but I really would like to do it, and I love the embellishments on it. And this is the Cinnamon Stick Christmas series. That's what it's called. And this is the sampler Santa. And if you see, Santa there has a sampler and toys coming out of his sack. On the stand-up, there's an embellishment here. Now, the chart does not include the embellishment, but let's see if she includes how to get them. Her instructions are very good. So she does give you instructions on how to finish the freestanding Santa. She does list the embellishments in here, but it looks like they were just sort of collected and added based on what was available to her, what she had available at the time. So those are the 3 designers that I wanted to share with you for this collaboration. I want to thank Cheryl for asking me to be involved in it and to share some of my favorite designers. And but really I wanted to go and look for ones that maybe are hanging around the periphery but need a little more exposure for people to get to know them and maybe get a sense of what their designs are like, and if it fits your aesthetic, you might want to click one of the links below for each one of these designers and look a little further. And I think it's just wonderful to promote designers, no matter who they are. And these are some of my favorites, but I have many favorites, and maybe in a future collaboration, if Cheryl decides to do this again, we'll share more favorite designers. But also I want to make sure that you know how to find other collaborators. There are 10 in the group. I'm one of the 10, so there are 9 others, and their Flosstube title will say Flosstube Collaboration Designer Showcase, and they'll all be releasing them today on Sunday. And so if you want to just do some designer shopping and hear about other stitchers and the designers that they like and why they like them and what makes their designs appealing, definitely check them all out. I think it'll be worth your time. And that's it for me. Again, Cheryl, thank you for including me in this collaboration, and thank you everyone for taking just a few minutes out of your day to stop and check this out as well. And if you have any questions about these designs or about the designers, what I like, what I don't like, you can reach out to me directly, but I would really encourage you to follow the links below. And then also the YouTube channels for each of the other collaborators is listed below, so you can click on those links as well and subscribe to them so that you get a notification when their video is uploaded. Other than that, I want to say have a happy Sunday. I hope you get some stitching in. I'm going to go and kit up, I think, a Chessy Me chart and also that Homespun Elegance chart, because it's really calling my name. So have a great Sunday. Thanks again for watching, and Cheryl, thanks again. Peace.